Did you know that the more distance you maintain between your car and the vehicle in front of you, the more time and space you will have to respond appropriately if its driver slams on the brakes? Maintaining the correct following distance provides you with enough time and space to react and avoid a collision in the event the vehicle directly in front of you comes to a sudden stop. This message is brought to you by the Bermuda Road Safety Council.
Good afternoon, Bermuda, and all who are here to join us and who are listening. Yesterday, all of Bermuda was together in elation and in celebration of our first gold medal at the Olympics, won by Miss Flora Duffy. I watched absolutely in awe to see her come across that finish line. The tremendous awe and athletic power she showed through that whole competition. Truly the power of Flora. Her steady and focused management of all three sets of the discipline of which she has clearly mastered was truly inspiring. It is absolutely beyond words to, as a Bermudian, and I'm sure I share this with every resident, to witness our first gold medal in the Olympics. Flora made everybody who is Bermudian, who lives in Bermuda, who's associated with Bermuda proud. She showed true grit and, of course, resilience. And that's who we all are as a people. We have had to rise to the challenges. And no matter what has faced Bermuda, this small island over many centuries that we all call home, we have proven our worth. And we have proven we can come together during the most important periods of our history. On behalf of the Bermuda government and every Bermudian and every resident, we congratulate Flora on her victory. We look forward to her returning to this beautiful island so that we can celebrate with her and to celebrate the great accomplishment she has brought to all of us. For the first time in over a year, we are here once again at Cup Match, and the excitement that comes at Cup Match seems to be buzzing in the air, that we finally have returned to a time that we can have Cup Match. And everyone in the community has an opportunity to celebrate this important holiday. Anticipation and enthusiasm has taken hold across the island. Residents are once again sporting the colors, flying their team flags, and busy preparing all those wonderful delectables for the holiday festivities. It is a fantastic time to be here in Bermuda and to celebrate one of our favorite public holidays. To everyone, to every Bermudian and people who live here, Cup Match is so much more than just 2 days of cricket. It is an integral part of our island's history. But this year, I think we have much to celebrate. Since August 2020, our population, a significant majority of it, are now protected from severe illness related to COVID. Approximately 65% of our people are fully immunized against the coronavirus. We are nearing our goal of community protection, and I continue to encourage those people who have not yet been vaccinated to discuss this issue with your doctor or whoever you trust with your medical advice, and to take advantage of the opportunity if you choose to do so. With the successful introduction of the Safe Key, anyone immunized or unimmunized who plans to attend the Cup Match event at St. George's Cricket Club can receive a Safe Key to enter the club grounds, allowing the club to host this beloved event safely. A valid ID is also required to ensure the correct person is using the key. All residents who are fully immunized can access their vaccine-based Safe Key online at www.gov.bm/safekey. Unimmunized residents can access Safe Keys by getting tested for COVID-19 at a government testing location. A link to the Safe Key document will be included in the negative test result email. Test-based Safe Keys are valid for 72 hours, 3 days after the test day. If you intend to go to the match on both days or attend any event that requires a Safe Key on Friday evening or Saturday, you will need to get your Safe Key tomorrow, Wednesday, July 28th. I'll repeat that. Wednesday, July 28th. If you intend to have your Safe Key for Friday evening or Saturday. The community test sites will be open from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. As a reminder, residents who get tested through a private lab may not have access to the Safe Key, depending on their test results, where the test results are processed. While there is much to celebrate, this is also a time for reflection and remembrance by everyone. The pandemic has caused heartbreak, pain for many of our families, and grieving is still going on by many of them. On a holiday that is really much about family, about community, and about people coming together. In that spirit, I also ask that everyone think about these families. And I encourage families and friends to check on those who have gone through this experience with the virus and who are amongst the vulnerable, such as our seniors and possibly disabled persons or others during this holiday. As I stated, everywhere you turn, the cup match buzz, the fever, seems to be with us. And though we all are due a lot of relaxation, we must not forget to be responsible and vigilant on our roads and on the water through the holiday weekend. During this holiday period, alongside all the celebrations that we will engage in, we must look out for each another, and of course, please follow the rules. This afternoon, we will also be hearing from the Acting Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Peets. We will also be joined by the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Renee Ming. Also, we will be joined by senior officers in the police, in the Bermuda Police Service, as well as, I believe, Dr. Miller, who will be sitting in for the CMO this afternoon. So I now will invite Minister Peets, who's the Acting Minister of Health and also Minister of Community and Sports, to actually address the audience and this press conference. Minister Peets.
Thank you, Acting Premier. And like all of you and all of Bermuda, I was simply thrilled and overjoyed about Flora's historic Olympic gold medal win for Bermuda last night. Personally, I cannot offer enough congratulations to her as an extraordinary athlete, as well as to her family, This indeed is an incredible accomplishment that has been hard-fought and thoroughly deserved. And I know for certain that Bermudians around the world are overjoyed that one of our own has brought us one of the proudest moments in our country's history. So Flora, we cannot wait to welcome you back so that we can celebrate your achievement. And with that, I wish to now share a brief COVID update from the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health has received 8,455 test results since the last update. 15 were positive for COVID-19. This gives a test positivity rate of 0.2%. These results are from testing done on the following dates. Thursday, July 22nd, 4 positive out of 2,622, a positivity of 0.2%. Friday, July 23rd, 3 positive out of 2,151, 0.1 positivity rate. Saturday, July 25th, 6 positive out of 1,945, a positivity rate of 0.3%. And Sunday, July 26th, 2 positive out of 1,737, a 0.1 positivity rate. 9 of the new cases are classified as imported, with the details as follows. 3 non-residents who arrived on American Airlines flight AA 825 from Philadelphia on July 17, 2021, of which 2 tested positive on their outbound tests and 1 tested positive on their day 8 tests. 1 non-resident who arrived on British Airways flight BA 159 from London on the 22nd of July 2021 and tested positive on their arrival tests. 1 resident who arrived on British Airways flight BA 159 from London on July 15, 2021 and tested positive on their day 8 tests. 1 resident who arrived on American Airlines flight AA 2044 from Charlotte on July 20th, 2021 and tested positive on their day 4 tests. 2 residents who arrived on American Airlines flight AA 914 from Miami on the 24th of July, 2021 and tested positive on their arrival tests. And lastly, 1 resident who arrived on United Airlines flight UA 1985 from Newark on July 19th, 2021, tested positive on their day 4 tests. 4 of the new cases are classified as local transmission with known contact as associated with a known case. The additional 2 cases are classified as under investigation. These cases are among residents with no currently identified link to other known cases or a travel history in the past 14 days. Additionally, since the last update, there were 7 recoveries and thankfully no deaths. There are currently 25 cases, of which 25 are under public health monitoring and none are in the hospital. Since March of 2020, Bermuda has recorded 2,553 total confirmed cases of COVID-19. Out of those, 2,495 persons have recovered, and sadly, there have been 33 COVID-related deaths. The source of all cases are as follows. 390 are imported. 2,200 are classified as local transmissions, of which 1,703 are local transmission, that's with known contact source, and lastly, 497 are local transmission with unknown contact or source, and 4 are under investigation. As investigations proceed, transmission categories may change. The 7-day average of our real-time production number is currently less than 1. Of the active cases by variant type, none are of the alpha, 2 are of the beta, 19 are delta, none are gamma or wild type, and 4 are not available. Bermuda is currently World Health Organization crunchy status remains as sporadic cases. I'll now provide an update on our vaccination program. We have completed week 28 of vaccinations. Since January 11th, Bermuda has administered a total of 82,870 vaccinations. Of the 82,870 vaccinations given as of July 24th, 52% are women and 48% are men. 82.5% of all residents over the age of 65 have had at least one vaccination, and 81.3% are fully immunized. To date, 65.3% of the population has been vaccinated, that's one dose, and 63.9% of the population has been immunized with 2 doses. I would like to remind everyone that vaccination is recognized globally as one of the single most important measures that individuals can take to protect themselves, their loved ones, and their community. Anyone who is trying to make up their mind about getting vaccinated should seek information that is supported by science and rely on guidance from reliable sources. If you haven't been vaccinated yet, you can walk to the King Edward Memorial Hospital or drive to their vaccination center. Next week, the vaccination center will be open on the following days: Tuesday, August 3rd, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., Thursday, August 5th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday, August 7th, from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. Please remember, each of us must do our part to stop the spread of the coronavirus. It is essential that we all follow the public health guidelines, wear a mask, practice good hand hygiene, maintain physical distance, and please download the WeHealth Bermuda app. Do your research, talk to a reliable source, make an informed decision about getting the COVID-19 vaccination. There is a wealth of information about the vaccine online at gov.bm. I do want to spend some time this afternoon to focus on the upcoming Cup Match holiday weekend, to encourage everyone to please remain vigilant and err on the side of caution as much as possible when it comes to protecting yourselves and others from coronavirus. COVID-19 continues to be a very major threat globally, and cases are rising significantly in other countries. Persons who are vaccinated should remain vigilant because the vaccine does not guarantee that persons won't catch COVID. The vaccine is highly effective in protecting against severe illness and death, but the level of effectiveness does vary across COVID-19 variants. This is all even more important in the context of large group gatherings, for which I have the authority as Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport. Specifically, I'd like to touch on a few matters to do with Cup Match, safety, and the need to ensure that people continue to engage in safe health practices over the holiday weekend. Under the current public health COVID-19 emergency powers phase reopening regulations 2021, I authorize large group events over a permitted number of 50. In consultation with the Ministry of Health, we require safe key is for most indoor events with over 50 persons and outdoor events over 100 persons. This is to protect the public and to prevent a COVID-19 outbreak, especially a mass gathering where the risk is much higher and contact tracing potentially much more difficult. To be clear, a safe key events require validating safe key QR code via the official online portal. This means that a vaccination certificate or a test result cannot be used in place of a safe key. If you are fully immunized or you have had a COVID test in 3 days prior to an event, you must use the safe key QR code to be allowed to enter into large group events. I reiterate, you cannot use your vaccination certificate or test results to enter a safe key event. You need the safe key QR code. If you're immunized, go to gov.bm/vaccine certificate to get your update safe key. If you're not immunized, you can get a COVID test and you will receive a link to your SafeKey with a negative test result email. Test-based SafeKeys are valid for 72 hours, that's 3 days, after the test date. There is a lot happening this weekend. This is a special time of the year for all of us as Bermudians to celebrate. It is clearly gearing up to be a very enjoyable time as our usual festivities are happening during our beloved holiday. We can see that the applications made for large gatherings, that there are a number of large events planned by a variety of different organizers. So it's critical for those attending any of these large crowded events, whether it's cup match or any of the special entertainment parties or activities that are taking place, that persons properly use the SafeKey validation and mask wearing requirements. Specifically as it relates to cup match, patrons are reminded that they must possess a pre-purchase that's online ticket plus a validated SafeKey to gain entry. There will be no tickets available for sale at the gates. So those planning to attend cup match should have all their requisite entry particulars and should not show up at the gate looking for tickets. If you're looking to attend the game, tickets to the Classic can be purchased online at www.gpass, that's GPASS.bm. I'm pleased to say that I've recently visited the St. George's Cricket Club to assess the preparation of the works, and everything is coming together nicely, so it should make for a great atmosphere of competitive cricket and camaraderie. To ensure a smooth entry for patrons, tomorrow, Wednesday, the cup match organizers will be running 2 drive-through to verify SafeKeys. If you have a SafeKey from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., you can go to the National Sports Center. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., you can go to the St. George's Cricket Club on tomorrow. SafeKey verification will include, number 1, checking physical or electronic SafeKeys. Number 2, confirming SafeKey name against a valid ID. And 3rd, validating that SafeKey on the verify.gov.bm website. Persons with a verified SafeKey will receive a call-it bracelet to prove that their SafeKey has been validated. On the actual 2 days of cup match, the entry to the grounds process will be as follows. Cup match attendees with a bracelet proving that they have verified their SafeKey will enter the grounds via an express gate. Persons who do not have a pre-verified SafeKey will be verified at the gate. And to help expedite the lines into cup match, the Royal Bermuda Regiment will be assisting with the entry process. So I encourage everyone who intends to go to the game to get their SafeKey pre-validated at Wednesday through the drive-thrus, either at the National Sports Center or at the St. George's Cricket Club. This will make entry so much faster and smoother for all concerned. I also encourage everyone with a SafeKey to test it prior to attending any SafeKey event. Just go to verify.gov.bm with a device other than the one that you got your SafeKey on, to click on it, verify that it's working and it's in order. If you have any difficulties, call the COVID help desk for assistance. So Bermuda, we are in full swing of the summer season, and we want to see people enjoying safe environments that we have worked so hard to create. Huge sacrifices have been made by many to get our country status to where it is today, and we cannot at this time become complacent. So it's important that over this holiday weekend, persons take proper health and safety precautions. We understand and appreciate some of the anxiety and stress that's in our community has to deal with, and we sincerely are grateful for the public's compliance with the measures that are in place to help us keep us safe. You all have demonstrated a true spirit of resilience that Bermudians are always and forever will be known for. But it's important to remember that we are only able to return having signatures like cup match because we have been so disciplined and responsible with our health guidelines. So with that, I wish to take this opportunity to wish all of Bermuda a safe and healthy emancipation, and Merry Prince and Cup Match Holiday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Minister Peets, Acting Minister of Health and Minister of Sport as well. We will now hear from the Minister of National Security, Renee Ming, on matters of law enforcement and updates related to her responsibilities to do with COVID as well. Thank you. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Bermuda. I too wish to add my congratulations to Flora Duffy on her historic win in the Tokyo Olympics. I think that's kind of why I don't have any voice today. I watched from start to finish, and it was truly an emotional occasion when she passed the finish line. Flora Duffy is Bermuda's first Olympic gold medalist. She has made history, and we are so incredibly proud of her accomplishment, not just as a Bermudian, but also as a woman. Now, as we prepare to celebrate our emancipation, Merry Prince, and Cup Match Holiday, the Ministry of National Security is keeping a close eye on public safety matters. Here's what I can provide as a general overview of the preparations underway for the holiday. I wish to pause though first to condemn Sunday night shooting incident which left 2 men being treated in hospital for gunshot wounds. This was very distressing, particularly following such a successful community event held earlier that day with the Court Street Market. This matter is still under investigation, and we are urging anyone with any information to please contact the police and share what you may know about this incident. Without question, we are expecting this will be a very busy and active holiday weekend. In addition to celebrating the return of the annual Cup Match Classic, it's our expectation that many of our residents will be heading to our beaches and parks and spending considerable time on the water over the long holiday weekend. The Bermuda Police Service's Joint Agency Command Committee has developed a robust policing plan in order to maintain public safety. We want to ensure a safe and peaceful holiday, and the Bermuda Police Service is working in partnership with the Royal Bermuda Regiment, the Coast Guard, the Department of Parks, and other agencies to ensure compliance on land and at sea. With the expectation of large crowds at our beaches and our parks, the Bermuda Police Service and the Royal Bermuda Regiment will have a visible presence at our popular beaches such as Horseshoe Bay Beach and Clearwater Beach. I understand that many people may be on the water celebrating. However, I urge the boating public to be considerate to other boat operators and houses nearby when playing music, especially late at night. And there will be a visible presence at the St. George's Cricket Club for the 2 days of the Cup Match Classic. So we are encouraging persons to please practice the appropriate health and safety measures. We are also urging the public to use common sense when it comes to alcohol consumption over the holiday period. As you are aware, the BPS will be conducting roadside sobriety checks throughout the island over the holiday weekend. So please, don't drink and drive, and above all, have a plan to get home safely. As it relates to recreational boating over the holiday, the Bermuda Police Service and the Coast Guard will be present on our waters to ensure that the marine environment is as safe as possible. And lastly, typically our Cup Match holiday is a festive period. Even against the backdrop of COVID-19, we expect that members of the community will seek to enjoy this national holiday to the fullest. Please remember that according to the public health regulations, gatherings must not exceed 50 people unless a group exemption has been granted by the Minister of Youth, Culture, and Sport. I would like to provide a brief update on the government-approved quarantine facilities. Please note that all non-immunized travelers are required to quarantine in a pre-approved government facility for a total of 14 days. To date, there have been 162 persons who have been released from quarantine. Currently, there are 56 in the facilities. These measures are in place at our borders to mitigate any further spread of the dangerous COVID-19 virus. Bermuda, I ask all that we please work together to make sure that the 2021 Cup Match, Emancipation Day, Merry Prince holiday can be remembered for many of the enjoyable experiences and not marred by any major disturbances, road traffic accidents, or infringements of the COVID-19 regulations. All public safety precautions that are in place by the Bermuda Police Service and its partner agencies are designed to ensure that any festivities remain safe and free of any antisocial behavior. As the Minister responsible for national security, I wish to take this opportunity to thank all of our enforcement and emergency agencies for their tireless work. I also would like to wish both teams a happy and good game, but there's no secret what my expected result would be. So everyone, please have a safe and enjoyable holiday.
Thank you, Minister Ming. In closing, everyone, last week the Bermuda government presented a check to the St. George's Cricket Club to support their hosting of the Cup Match 2021 event in the amount of $75,000 to ensure that the event would be a success. We, as a government, recognize the enormous financial commitment that both clubs have to make to this event. So we were pleased and willing to make such an effort in their efforts, which are essentially much shorter in the time that they would have normally been allowed, because the planning for Cup Match, as those who are involved with it, literally takes a year. It starts days after the previous year. But as you know, the circumstances did not allow it. So the government has done this in support of the efforts by St. George's to lead and organize the event. So on behalf of the Bermuda government, we extend our congratulations to Neil Painter, the president of St. George's Cricket Club, and all of his officers for all the hard work they have been required to put into preparing the grounds for this year's 2021 Classic. And in some ways, having this Classic is a triumph over COVID and the efforts by our country to triumph over the COVID experience. So it is with great gratitude the country should give the St. George's Cricket Club for bringing it together to have the event. And I, of course, extend my heartfelt best wishes to both teams. But I'm sure by my colors, you all, as the Minister of National Security has indicated, know where my support is. So I wish to wish all of Bermuda a happy celebration of emancipation, happy Merry Prince Day, and a happy Cup Match. But I'd like to end with some additional remarks. Certainly, Ms. Flora Duffy's victory has added an additional, I would say, sweetness to this holiday weekend. And you will hear more from the government on preparations for how we may, going forward, celebrate this wonderful event that we all experienced last night. The Minister of Sport is involved, as well as the Cabinet Office and myself, with discussions on how we will shape an event, and the public will hear more about that going forward. But I'd also like to suggest something else. It is a time to remember the Olympics, the Olympic tradition that Bermuda has long been a part of, and not only remember Ms. Duffy, whose moment this clearly is hers, and we should all remember that, But we have a long tradition of Olympians and commitment to the Olympic spirit. And we should remember all the persons who have worked hard over Bermuda's for many years, who have given their effort to be a part of the Olympic experience. So it's a time not only to remember and celebrate Ms. Duffy, but I would say it's a time to remember Bermuda's full Olympic experience and all those who have committed over many years to be a part of the Olympic tradition. And they all get a little bit of this spirit as well and a sense of victory, because clearly an island of our size, of 22 square miles, winning a gold is one of the greatest prizes that any country can have. So thank you to Ms. Duffy, and I would say thank you on behalf of Bermuda to all of those who have worked hard to be a part of the Olympic experience over the years. So with that, I will say thank you to all who have attended this press conference, and we will now entertain any questions from the media.
Thank you, Acting Premier. Thank you so very much. Thank you, ministers. We're going to start our question period off with Jonathan Bell from the Royal Gazette. Mr. Bell, would you like to come to the microphone and share your questions for the ministers?
Thank you, and thanks to everyone for having us, and happy Cup match in advance. My apologies if I'm wrong on this. I believe, and I'm going by memory, but I believe on Friday the Premier alluded in the House to a potential loosening, we might say, of the mandatory quarantine. I hope I'm correct on that. I stand to be corrected. I was hoping to hear where we are in that conversation, if anyone's able to update us on that.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Bell. As one would aware, it was announced last Friday our success with the court case in relation to the quarantine rules. As the rules stand, they will be in place until September 30th. But, as the Premier indicated, discussions will go on as to how we can further, now that the case is, at least from the standpoint of this episode behind us, we can consider modifications to the regime. And I believe the Premier indicated that, but you will hear more from us going forward on that in due course.
Righto, thank you. I took note of, I believe it was 19 Delta cases that we've seen, which it's spreading elsewhere. And obviously we've addressed the events coming up this weekend. I guess with the possibility of house parties and the like, of people perhaps not entirely heeding the rules, what's our plan for avoiding what they are calling super spreader events, potentially seeing a spike 2 weeks down the line, particularly given how people may behave with consumption of alcohol? Obviously, we know there are some big events coming up, but I'm just hoping to hear a bit of advice on the just general, what we might be seeing with the Delta variant, those numbers rising.
I will give an answer, but I'm happy to hear from the Acting Minister of Health as well to answer your question. But I think it's very clear that there are a number of things that we're relying on with this. We're relying on people to already be very well aware of what the guidelines are and what the rules are when it comes to events and how they should conduct themselves. Social distancing and other public health measures are important. I would hope that people who have seen the experience that this country has gone through over recent months would be mindful that we don't want to have another super spreader event. Certainly events that are within the guidelines, it's clear what those rules are, and Minister Peets has reiterated what those rules are today, and large event approvals are given the attention that they need, and all of the organizers know what those rules are. We don't want to have another super spreader event. We are here able to celebrate Cup Match because we have had success as a country, and I must thank the Bermuda Police Service, the Department of Health, and the leadership under Minister Ming and Minister Wilson, and all the teams that are under them, including Minister Peets, that have tried to do their best, in my view, to ensure that people understand the rules and will be like guided by them. But our police cannot be everywhere. They cannot be in every street. They cannot be at every venue. They cannot be minding thousands of people, each individual, and what they do. We are asking that the public conduct themselves in a way that they know will keep themselves safe, keep their families safe, and keep the community safe. I think that's really what we are asking right now. I'm sure with the support of the police and the regiment, we will have the presence that we require to have at these significant events. But there is some community responsibility and individual responsibility that must also be deployed, and we are asking for people to take those on at this important event weekend. We want Cup Match to be a success, not to be the start of some challenge or failure on part of our country.
Fair dues. Thanks. The third question I have, and I note the presence of Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller, perhaps you can address this one. We're hoping, we've heard some good vaccination numbers here, but perhaps you could tell us about quantities of Pfizer remaining in stock, when it's next coming, just where we're at with our vaccine supply at the moment.
Well, certainly some of that the CMO would be best placed to answer. In terms of utilization of stocks, we have a drive going on at the hospital, and at one point we were rather concerned that we may not be able to utilize all the stocks that we have. As of 9 o'clock this morning, based on the information I received, we are confident that we will be using all the stocks that we have at the hospital, so there will be no wastage where that is concerned.
Okay, thanks. I guess the final one that I had, and again, apologies if this information is already available, but I know anyone contemplating travel will definitely want to know it. It sounded like there could be some period that testing for COVID-19 is not available. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I was just hoping to hear about the availability of testing just over this 4-day period for the benefit of those who are traveling or will need to get tested.
Yes, thank you. Regarding your earlier question, we can confirm of the cases that we reported to Delta, the answer was 19.
Cool.
There are a significant number of large group exemptions happening over the Cup Match weekend, and as such, we did take in consideration the increased capacity that's going to be required. So we can confirm to the public that the testing sites in which are currently in place, capacity has been increased to accommodate the additional safe keys that are going to be required.
And they'll be open over the 4-day period?
Yeah, as I mentioned, the testing sites are going to be open throughout the entire Cup Match period.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. All right, thank you, sir. That's my questions.
Sure.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. We'll now have Media Maya. Maya, you'd like to come to the microphone?
Good afternoon, everyone. Maya Palacio here from Media Maya. My first question goes to the Minister of National Security, Minister Ming, or it could go to the police department as well, depending on it. But the question revolves around statistics, and I just was curious to know, what do the statistics show about the dangerous events most likely to occur during the Cup Match holiday? For example, when you are maybe having your discussions on where the police may be at specific beaches or at the events, do you guys have any statistics showing, like from prior holidays, prior Cup Matches, if it's traffic collisions that are more serious, or driving while intoxicated, or marine raft-ups, or even just violence in particular?
Good evening, Darren Simons. I think, so all of the major events go through a risk assessment matrix, and that basically looks at things like the number of people attending, the history of those events in terms of propensity or issues around violence, whether alcohol is involved, sometimes age groups involved, and we have kind of like a risk assessment matrix to look at each one. I think clearly over a public holiday, you've just got the issue of large groups of individuals coming together, and particularly where alcohol is involved. And we see that manifest itself in public disorder, or on the roads in terms of impaired driving. So to address those two issues, the minister's already mentioned that we're going to have a very active program around roadside sobriety testing. So you're going to see us out, high-vis jackets, going from place to place. We tend to set these things up for a very short period of time and then move around just to keep people guessing. Certainly there will be a lot of police officers, and also it's really a partnership approach throughout the event. So we have the Royal Bermuda Regiment, we'll have the Coast Guard on the water in particular. We'll be also assisted by reserves just in terms of our ability to manage social, people congregating in different places. I think a key message, though, really is we just want everybody to have fun. We want this to be a very enjoyable holiday cup match for everybody involved. And everybody has a role to play in that. That's like, not drinking to excess, minding your P's and Q's, working with your neighbors to ensure that, when loud music is playing, et cetera, that we keep it reasonable. And I'm really looking forward to an enjoyable holiday.
Thank you. You could actually stay at the podium. I have another question for you. So in regards to, the Cup Match holiday and Bermuda opening back up and still like living through a pandemic but lessened, we've noticed that there have been a lot more increases in traffic accidents, a lot more increase in burglaries on the island, a lot more increases in just, other violences. So I'm just curious to know, any other extra steps other than what we normally do, like maybe like speaking to taxi drivers or, minibus services, things like that to help prevent, more of these traffic accidents who could actually take people who are maybe impaired or anything. Do you guys discuss those with other people? Because the Bermuda Road Safety Council has been addressing it and trying to address it, and, in matters of safety, is there anything more that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so absolutely. So one of our strategic priorities is around road traffic and driving and standards of driving and reducing harm on our roads is basically how we would say. So just very recently we've been involved in, not that they haven't been ongoing, but certainly in light of some of the observations that you make, we've been engaged with the Road Safety Council, the Minister for Transport, just in relation to having a holistic perspective on how we can address this problem, particularly as it relates to the police. You may have heard already about Operation Vega. So that's where we're putting a lot of energy and focus on being highly visible and increasing our traffic enforcement efforts just to bring some calm on the roads. So we're very much alive to that. Harm on our roads is a significant issue that we're very much alive to. We're in conversations with our ministry, within our Ministry for Transport and Road Safety Council, and certainly the police have a very targeted operation around enforcement. So I would like to think that people have seen that, because I'm very conscious of driving home and seeing a lot more yellow around and stops. So that's one part, but clearly there's education, partnering, looking at road design in terms of some more longer term problem solving around reducing harm on our roads.
Oh, thank you very much. My next question is for Dr. Ernest Peets. In regards to all the persons who have come into the island who are unimmunized and have been at the facilities, can you tell me exactly how many have actually tested positive for COVID-19?
Your question is how many travelers have come to Bermuda who are unimmunized?
Yes, and have tested positive for COVID-19.
Actually, my briefing actually doesn't have that information.
Would you possibly know at least the 15 people that recently have tested positive? Can you tell us how many were vaccinated and how many were unvaccinated?
Once again, my statement actually doesn't break that particular stat down, but we do have technical officers who actually are listening to the broadcast. We'll be sure to get those answers to you before the close of day.
Okay, thank you. And I guess those would be all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you, Maya. Thank you very much for your questions. And our final journalist of the evening is Gary Foster Skelton from Bermuda Broadcasting. Gary, would you like to share your 4 questions with the panelists this evening?
Good afternoon, and thank you, Acting Premier, Acting Minister of Health. in some ways this follows on from what a question that Maya asked, and with the numbers you gave us today, just confirmed something that we understood. Bermuda Broadcasting understands that among today's cases of local transmission, there is a cluster of cases around one unvaccinated source, and within that cluster there are children. We also understand this cluster is infected with the Delta variant. Can you confirm or deny this?
At the moment, I cannot, but I can reiterate some of the things that we have already shared. There are known cases of coronavirus that are under investigation, and the Surveillance and Epidemiology Unit will continue to monitor those cases, and we will certainly report to the public any updates.
Okay. If you'll indulge a slightly long question, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ian Loy, previously said the virus will usually meet a dead end when it infects a fully immunized person, and we also understand that any local transmission since May has been only via someone who is unimmunized or not fully immunized. But speaking to Bermuda Broadcasting last week, Dr. Ian Loy said there are significant pockets of our population who have not been vaccinated, and the concern is that the virus, particularly the highly contagious Delta variant, could establish itself among those people with potentially devastating consequences. From tonight's reported cases, it appears that we might be seeing the virus establishing itself in a pocket of possibly unvaccinated Bermudians. This runs on from a question that Jonathan asked, going into a holiday where many will be gathering in close quarters. How is government going to manage, in particular, these new local transmissions to ensure we are not looking back in 2 weeks at a cup match holiday super spreader event?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are actually two things I think you mentioned. One, of course, there are known cases. Those cases are currently under surveillance, and those cases have to be managed by public health. Of course, compliance with those public health guidelines for those who are being monitored are absolutely necessary. For the rest of us who are gathering in large group gatherings during the cup match holiday, we want to do so safely. So if you have heard some of the comments that we have mentioned previously, there is some responsibility that the public has to have as it relates to gathering in large group gatherings. So adhering to all the guidelines are necessary. If you are part of a safe key event, it's imperative, it's absolutely imperative that both the patrons as well as the organizers are actually adhering to all of the requirements around safe key. Those are the only things that we can put in place to minimize the potential risk of a super spreading event. We all know that the Delta variant is far more contagious than the previous ones. So there is room for concern, and we're certainly concerned about it.
Might I also add, Mr. Falter-Skelton, as the Minister has said, and as I said earlier, there is a level of community responsibility here that has to be a part of what everybody takes on. That includes those who have the benefit of, one, having had the large group approval. They clearly have submitted an application that had the confidence of those who are giving the permissions. So they have a responsibility to hold these events and monitor these events that they're holding and make sure that the guidelines are being followed within the event. Yes, the safety creates a sort of condition of safety, but that is only safe as the people in it who are conducting themselves safely. So I think we have to also reiterate, yes, we have the benefit of having this holiday. Two, there are a number of events that have been approved to be held, but it's on particularly the organizers and the patrons to adhere to the requirements of having the event safely. So once you get into, whether it be St. George's Cricket Club or one of the other events that are been approved to have, or even some perhaps slightly smaller events, conduct yourself safely within those spaces so that you keep yourself safe, you keep the community safe, and you do not contribute to any unintended consequences that could be a part of irresponsible behavior.
The issue I see with the reference you're making to personal responsibility, over the last couple of weeks, we have certainly seen people who don't necessarily agree with what this government is saying is good conduct or what people should be doing for public health restrictions. I was at the airport a couple of weeks ago when a known quarantine objector returned to the island. There was shaking of hands, there was hugging, nothing was being restricted by